Good morning, John and Rick. Excuse me. Good morning, James and Rick. My two twins. I'll put some nuts out for them. Like I said, I feed them a couple of times a week. I don't want them to get too dependent, because they get where they come right on up here and be looking. But yeah, y'all, I ain't got to tell y'all. My lawn guy came yesterday and cut the grass. Honey, he was in and out of here. He does such a good job. He about his business, and I love it. But y'all, I ain't got to tell y'all about the civil unrest. It's real, y'all. It's real. They're putting us on curfew in certain cities of my state because of the rioting and uprising, if you will. It's and that's what I was saying in one of my eating videos. I don't want that to become the story, but unfortunately it has. And let me just say this: there's a way to do and say anything. It feels good out here. It's right cool. But honey, I felt something flying around my neck. Hold on. Okay, y'all, I'm back. I had to get myself situated. But anyway, what I was going to say was, there's a way to do and say anything. And, you know, of course, hindsight is always 20/20. What you shoulda, coulda, or woulda done becomes more in focus and more sharp. The image. Or, oh man, I should have said that. And I think, too, leadership is so important when stuff like this goes down. And let me just say this that's really noteworthy. Like I said, as I've said on the video I did about the Subway mukbang that I did, I spoke on just on how we all matter. We really do. And it's important that we teach our children now that black people matter. But first and foremost, as a human being, as a race of people, no matter what race we are, we all matter. And you've got to love God more than you hate my skin color. If we are men and women and children of God, as we claim and speak, we just gotta love God more than we hate one another. My skin color, the grade of my hair, the slant or the round shape of my eye, my hue, my melanin. You've got to love the God in me, the God that created me, that created us in his image. You have got to love that more than you hate a race or a black man or a black woman. And I just want to, again, speak to us who are in the household of faith. It's heartbreaking. It's devastating to see that we're here again. And yes, I'm going to speak on it because of the injustices that befall black people. And I want to just, again, speak to the fact that there are things in this generation, it's not going to be tolerated. Now, like I said, I don't condone and don't agree with none of this tearing up cities. I mean, like I said, we're going to be under curfew in certain cities in my state, and it's all over the United States. In the midst of this pandemic, in the midst of what we're already suffering as a world, this just adds to it. The frustrations, the anger. And I understand where it's birthed from. Don't misunderstand. I understand where it's birthed from. And I understand the disappointment from leadership or those we deem to hold in high esteem, that we hold them to a higher standard. And yes, that is our men and women who are called to protect and serve. And we know that all law enforcement is not bad. We know this. I have a couple of good friends who are officers or have served as a law enforcement officer or as a sheriff. And so we don't throw the baby out with the bathwater. We don't generalize one conglomerate of people. But it is noteworthy to say that the days of old are gone. This generation, we're living in a generation that is coming up, that they didn't grow up during the civil rights movement, and they didn't grow up seeing lynchings and hangings and burning torches and crosses in your yard and having to be escorted just so you can get an education if you were black. These people in the generation now, they have not lived through that. So they've studied it. They know and heard about it. But the people of today, the generation of today, oh, absolutely not. They ain't. Do you think they're going to allow that to come upon them? Oh, heck no. So anything that look like they are being oppressed, anything that looks like they're going to be enslaved or having to be submissive and subservient, oh, heck to the no. They're not going to stand for that. And so this is why the reaction is the way it is. And like I said, like the word tells us, be angry but sin not. Oh, you can be angry. But what they're doing, yes, is sin. There is corrupt to the point to where they're stealing, they're looting, they're doing a lot of things they shouldn't be doing. But again, that's sad that has now become the story, and the real true story, the crux of what we're dealing with and seeing, is because of the continued injustices against when a police is called or a police is on the scene as it relates to black men, black people. Unfortunately, death occurs, and it's sad. And again, I pray that peace abounds, that peace be still. Peace calls this unrest, this uprising that's occurring. I pray that it be still and let some healing take place. And like I said, there's a way to do and say anything, and just like we can go back and say, okay, well, what was the root? What caused this? Well, when they stated, that prosecutor in Minnesota stated that they didn't have enough evidence to make an arrest, sometimes we have to be careful on how we say, because that is what sparked the riots. And then, of course, a day or so later, the police officer that, again, we all have seen it, he was finally arrested. And now the unrest is still accumulating because they want the other 3 police officers to be arrested, because they, in my opinion, and many people's opinion, they had a duty to intervene to allow that black man to have human decency and courtesy upon his life when he said that he couldn't breathe. And because they didn't use their duty to intervene, they allowed a man, and I'm going to say it, a black man, to just lay there and be suffocated, to the point that man called out for his mama, whom I've learned now, his mother passed 2 years ago. So he knew he was in distress. He knew he was in pain. He knew he was getting ready to expire, because he called upon his mama to come help him, to come get him. A grown man cried out for his mother, who had already died 2 years prior. And nobody, no officer that was standing by intervened and just tapped that and you really failed him. I mean, we can go deeper. Those officers really failed their own co-worker. They failed their own co-worker, because again, when you recognize somebody don't have the pause button, when you stand by and you don't tap somebody, a friend, a family member, a coworker, when you don't intervene and just tap and say, hey brother, hey sister, ho, 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 I know we got your back. If he do anything crazy, he's already handcuffed. He's already on his stomach. He's not resisting in any way. Hold on now. There's 4 of us standing around you. Somebody should have tapped him. Somebody should have tapped him. Somebody should have tapped him. And so that's why I say there's a way to do and say anything. It could have been that those police officers could have just tapped him and said, hold on, partner. Hold on. We got you. If anything go to the left, we got you. Hey, good morning. How you doing? I'm good. I'm good. And so that's what should have happened. But because that didn't happen, we are here today. We are here today yet again to say, what could we do? What can we do now? See, when this stuff like this happens, there's got to be a learning experience. There's got to be a teachable moment. So that's why with the generation coming up, we got to be able to talk to our children and our young folks and say, listen, you got to be the pause. You got to be that pause button for some of your co-workers, for some of your neighbors, or some of your family members. Because sometimes you recognize when a person is far gone. You recognize when a person is out there. You got to help reel them back in. And that's what we're supposed to do in the household of faith. When you see your brother going into a ditch, you got to be able to say, hold on, hold up, stop, pause. So anyway, I just wanted to talk to y'all this morning about that. I pray for everyone much. I pray that peace be still and we can truly begin to heal from this pandemic and from this civil unrest. And I love y'all. God bless, and may the peace of the Lord be with you.